Hey, welcome back to the Dr. Jimbo Love Show. Good news today, folks. We got our name back.
We did.
And I want to thank my lawyer, Tamara. I got to get permission before I mentioned her on the radio in her law practice, but she really came through. And Joe Jockwin, thank you very much for calling me up. And we're happy. So no longer is the Dr. Jimbo Love Show affiliated with that radio station out of Johnstown.
Good news.
All right, so we've got a new mic, we got a new light, and tomorrow's show is going to be killer. Tell them a little bit about the betting thing and all the good stuff that we've got planned for tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're going to be taking different standpoints on sports betting. I'm going for the good guy side, saying that sports betting really helps the game. And Jim here is going to go the opposite. He's going to say, go into detail how sports betting is bad for the game to keep the integrity.
Well, I'm just worried about the amount of money that is going to start filtering in. I mean, it was different when you were talking about maybe using a bookie or going through a Vegas sports book. Mm-hmm. Colorado is the first state to allow the DraftKings and stuff like that. Is that correct? Besides Las Vegas?
There are a couple other states that have okayed it. I know you get in spotty situations. It's crazy because they keep connections on where your location is. So even though I live in Colorado, if I'm in places like Illinois, I can't bet because they track your location and make sure that the states that have it illegal stay illegal. But, I mean, that doesn't stop somebody from sending me money or your friend money and you just place the bet for you.
So does that mean that if you come through Denver International Airport and you have, say, maybe a 4-hour layover, you could get on your computer and you're from another state and you could place bets on DraftKings? Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's a quick process. They do your They do basically your ID. You have to give them your social because any sports gambling where you win good money, you gotta have it tied to you as a person.
Even though it's not over $10,000?
So on taxis you have to claim it if you win like over $500.
Really?
Yeah. So I just found that out this year.
I didn't know that.
Because I have a buddy that's won a lot. Right. I'm kind of that even gambler. I'll get some wins here or there, but you know what? I give it right back to Vegas within a week. So, but yeah. So. It's a very well-developed program that they have going on these phones.
Right. Interesting because, I'm still a virgin. I have not placed a bet. Now, we have talked about the parlay, and we're going to go into this tomorrow, but that's going to be the first part of our show, and we don't want to give it all away here in this preview. The other thing we're going to talk about tomorrow that's very important is college hockey.
Yep.
And we are going to become the exclusive home in Colorado for college hockey going forward. We have some big plans. The DU and St. Cloud State matchup on February 3rd and 4th. Mm-hmm. We are going to, and I'm going to call it right now, I think the SID is going to allow us to do a live broadcast from DU, the stadium. Seth's going to tell them about the jersey you're going to have on.
Yeah, so St. Cloud State's only had one Hobie Baker winner ever. So I have Drew LeBlanc's jersey. It's actually his jersey from when he played for St. Cloud State right before he went to go play a game for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Wow. Is it true that you haven't washed it yet?
I haven't, really.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me, they'll put it behind glass. Someone will throw them a jersey or whatever, and they won't wash it because they want the sweat residue on there, and they'll put it behind glass. I'm not kidding.
Well, in hockey, if you haven't played hockey or you haven't been around a hockey player, that equipment might be up there with the smelliest equipment that you could have for any sport.
Oh, it is. It's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. Now, I had the opportunity to know Joey Newendike as he was coming up as a Cornell hockey player, and I remember going up to Liner Rink in Ithaca and going into the locker room and going, I've never smelled anything like that in my life. It's worse than the football. It's totally worse than football.
Hockey parents, hats off to you because that stuff sits in your trunk. Yep. I know sometimes as a kid, I'd put mine in the living room. It would stink up the whole house.
Yep. And it's just one of those things. It's like shoulder pads. The sweat. Once the sweat gets in there, forget about it.
Yeah, it's just there.
Yep. The other thing we're going to talk about, of course, we're going to talk about the conference championships. We know we have 2 great games on Sunday. And, we'll break it down for you. Seth will give you his in-depth analysis. Mm-hmm. And we're pretty excited. Now, The other thing that's come around is that we are now on every single podcast that there is. Because Spotify and our name is back, we are able to, we're on the Apple Podcast. Just go into any of them and you'll find us, and we're excited about that. The other thing we haven't planned for you is that CSU is having a really good basketball season. I believe that they've only lost one game.
Yeah, one tough game they had.
Yeah, but it was San Diego State, right? Or University of... No, it was San Diego State, right?
Yeah, it was San Diego State. You know, it was a rough game. They had a lot of success up to that point. And you know what? Everybody has an off game.
Yeah, and then the thing was, if you saw that game, and I watched it, the second half, CSU could not buy a basket. And they basically got blown out by 20 to 25 points. You know, in the Mountain West, if you're a Mountain West fan, you know that San Diego State has been the perimeter. They've won so much. So, you know, no skin off their nose. It's a long season, but we are going to go up to the Brothers and Brothers Bar and Grill in Fort Collins. We'll do an initial show if allowed, which we will be because you know Seth knows the general manager up there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the stadium and we're going to do maybe another half an hour right before the game starts. There should be a lot of energy. The same thing with DU and St. Cloud State.
Go Huskies.
Yeah. And you know what? I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that Cornell hockey beat number 1 Quinnipiac last weekend. Remember, Cornell played 2 games last weekend. The first game was against Princeton, who really is not a very good team. And as you can see in college sports, these young kids look past the game. They were thinking about the Quinnipiac game, and they lost to Princeton.
Well, it's a good thing they won because from what I saw in the standings, like a loss to Princeton could really drop you in that top 20.
Right.
But with the win against Quinnipiac, they actually stayed right in their position at number 6.
They are at number 6.
Yep.
Excellent. So give us a little rundown of the DU. Not DU. It's going to be St. Cloud State is playing against North Dakota State, right?
No, North Dakota.
University of North Dakota. In Fargo.
Yep. And
at
so
the Ralph.
That one's going to be a good one. You have that's been a heated rivalry for a long time. They actually North Dakota came over with St. Cloud State to the NCHC when they created this new division. If you look at the top 20, North Dakota's there. You still have DU, you have St. Cloud State. So it's another top 20 matchup.
Excellent.
St. Cloud State has had a little bit more success this year than North Dakota, but these rivalry games, it's crazy because St. Cloud State and North Dakota have already met twice this year. They split the series. St. Cloud State had a little penalty trouble the first time around, but it's a brand new series, especially when you're in that home ice. That's an NHL arena, basically.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And
what's Ralph's last name? Do you remember?
I don't.
I keep calling it the Ralph, but we talked about it. And if you would like to go back and hear a little bit about that stadium and some of the things that happened when the gentleman who paid for the stadium, right? He donated the stadium. Unfortunately, he passed. But he put a lot of pretty cool things. Tell him a little bit about that real quick, just about the Fighting Sioux logo.
Yeah, so the Fighting Sioux logo was a controversy. Obviously, Native American mascots came under scrutiny, and he built this stadium. And basically, he engraved the emblem of the Sioux all over. You can't even take it out. You'd have to destroy the stadium. And his rule was, if you guys change your name, you guys can't have my stadium. I'll keep it. I'll give it to somebody else, but you're not going to take it.
Right.
So unfortunately, he passed, and that allowed the school to keep the stadium and change the name. But it is...
What is the mascot name now?
They're the Fighting Hawks.
Which is sad. You know, the sad thing about this whole thing with mascots is that the Native American culture has embraced a lot of these mascot names.
And so,
you know...
It's an interesting thing. I think... Obviously, if Native American culture has an issue with it, yes, we got to change the name. But if they're supporting it, if they're getting money from it, because we don't know, I don't know the deal that North Dakota had.
Right.
But it was honestly the coolest jersey I've ever seen. That's where TJ Oshie played. And if you guys don't know him, he plays for the Washington Capitals. Great guy. He played in Warroad, Minnesota when he was in high school.
Well, I'm sure they can pull up on the internet and see exactly what those old jerseys look like.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I guarantee you there's people selling them.
It's hard to find
Is
people
it
right
really?
now because it is such a sought-after jersey. Our resale of a used jersey is going for $500, $600, $700.
Yeah.
I was actually in Blackhawk Casino up here in Colorado, and I saw a TJ Oshie Fighting Sioux jersey.
Right on. Well, you know the Blackhawk jersey, isn't that one of the leading sales of jerseys, the Chicago Blackhawk
Yeah.
jersey? You know, and that's a Native American, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a beautiful jersey. Absolutely. Vince Vaughn had it on in that movie called The Breakup, you know, and that's, I just, it's sad. But anyways, so tune in tomorrow. We're going to have a killer show. It's going to be 2 parts. First part is going to be about sports betting. Again, just like we said before, for those of you that are just tuning in, we're going to take to either side. And instead of having one person talk about their point, we're going to just have an open forum and go back and forth, just like we were sitting at a sports bar speaking as friends.
Yeah, we're going to get rid of the old debate club scenario that you would do where team 1 goes in team 2.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, we'll be highlighting the college hockey. Another thing we have planned too is I've spoken to the Cornell SID and the alumni director, and there's a local alumni director here. We're going to try to make Brothers maybe a place where people can come in that love hockey, college hockey, professional hockey. Hey, Avalanche fans, you're welcome. DU fans, but we're thinking about having our show broadcast. We're up in the mezzanine. We're thinking about having a meet and greet of all hockey fans and getting the word out there. You know, hockey season is, give them a little bit of a breakdown. When does the Frozen Four normally happen, and how does it work?
So the Frozen Four happens, I believe, right around the time March Madness does.
Okay.
They're roughly the same. They don't get as televised as much. They did make ESPN, but it's not until usually when the tournament starts. So, and it's a much smaller tournament.
It's 16 teams, right?
Yeah, instead of the...
So it's 64 plus 4.
Yeah.
So it's 68 teams in the NCAA basketball. Now, I'll tell you, we are going to turn Brothers, if Seth allows, into Hockey Central, especially in the month of March. Okay? I have Scott Howard, okay, at Cornell University. His best friend is Joey Neuendijk. Okay, they had dinner last night. I had an opportunity to talk to both of them. We're going to see if we can get some of these guys to come on our show, along with Woody Page, maybe John Elway, Mike Shanahan. We'd love to have maybe Terrell Davis, Walter Davis. For those of you that are really old like me, remember Walter Davis. Walter Davis played for North Carolina. He was on the '76 Olympic team. It was a gold medal team. He played for Denver Nuggets, and then he also played for the Phoenix Suns. He happened to be my neighbor. So why not get him on, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool to meet. I don't
Absolutely.
even know who he is, but I'm happy to meet him.
Oh, well, yeah, he's a really nice guy. The other thing is, too, is we want to invite you to come down to Brothers Bar and Grill at the Shops of Northfield. Come up and watch our show. Every Saturday starting around 10:30, we're going to live stream from here. And provided it doesn't get too busy, Seth will be able to stay and be on, and I hope he stays on.
Oh, yeah.
But come down, have a couple drinks with us. We'll put on any hockey. You can get anything, right?
Yep, we have the whole NHL package. The only one that causes issues, which is very unfortunate, is the Colorado Avalanche and their TV deal. They're not with ESPN, they're with Altitude Sports.
Right.
So sometimes they do get blacked out. But we do get all their games because we have DirecTV.
Good.
So for those of you that go streaming services at home, or you don't have DirecTV, because I believe DirecTV is the only provider that can show it,
No kidding.
come on down. We have it on our TVs to watch the game.
And do you have ESPN Plus?
So we do have a deal with ESPN Plus where we can get certain events. If you let us know ahead of time, we can more than happy to get whatever game you're looking for on it.
Okay, so Cornell alum out there that are watching, ESPN Plus just put a deal together with, I believe, the entire Ivy League, but I know it's with Cornell for sure. So any Cornell game that plays, Seth will be able to put it on for us, right? Which is wonderful. So let's make this Hockey Central, especially going forward, and hopefully we'll see the Avalanche go very, very deep in the NHL playoffs, and maybe we'll have another year like 2001 when they won it all, or 97. They won it. No, was it 97 or no? 96.
Six.
When they first came here, they were the Quebec Nordiques, And that was wonderful. I had a chance to really get to know some of the guys on that team. Forsberg and I used to go to the Stampede on Wednesday nights, ladies' night, and we had a good time there. So I can tell you some old stories about that as well. Tune in tomorrow, 10:30 to 12:30 for live. If not, go to any of your streaming apparatuses. We will be on them all. Facebook, Twitter. What else? We have the Apple Podcast.
We have Anchor.
Anchor. So we basically can go through any of the different ones that are on there, and we'll be on them all. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Seth, take us out.
Yeah, look forward to seeing everybody. Get here early. We're going to have a great time here tomorrow. We got great sports going on. College basketball has a good slate of games going.
Oh, they do.
And you know what? We got a lot to talk about with upcoming football games. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.